What Radio, the music you want.
If you only knew the power.
With your host, Keys Dan.
Don't make me destroy you.
RadioWhat.com.
I have a bad feeling about this.
What's up, party people? It's Keys Dan with RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com, coming to you live in a living color from the Radio What studios. And this is my podcast, What Makes You Famous. It's an extension of the RadioWhat.com internet radio station that I've been running for quite some time. And if you need DJ services, where do you go? DJLittleRock.com. Check availability and get a free price quote. And maybe you can have me at your next event. I like to party with the people. Today on the program, the Hot Springs Batman. You get to listen to him and a little bit of his story in your ears in the next few minutes. Kind of excited about that. I'm talking to the Batman. Yeah. Hey, don't do the voice. Don't do the voice. I'm Batman. I did the voice. All right. I guess I had to. To this week's shows. Oh, if you care to come out in the public and do some karaoke with me, I'll be at the Rab in Conway, Arkansas on Friday night. That's my usual Friday night gig. That's in Conway up on the Hippie Hill. They have a full bar in the kitchen. They have great pizza, burgers, chicken wings, my favorite. And they also have a pool tournament that goes on Friday nights. I encourage you, if you want to make some money, check out the pool tournament. This is an over 21 club, so yes, leave the kids at home. They also have a shuffleboard on the party patio, foosball, darts, big giant Jenga game. Let's see, there's checkers. So there's always something to do while you're waiting to sing on stage right next to little old me at the Rab in Conway, Arkansas. That starts at 8 p.m. on Friday night, and we go way past your bedtime, way past 1:30, almost 2 o'clock in the morning. And then on Saturday, oh, yeah. Saturday, I'll be in the big room. You know, the Rab is a pretty big room. It's pretty big. It's got pool tables on one side and the karaoke and dance floor on the other side. But then Saturday night, I'll be in an even bigger room at the Heber Springs VFW. This room is, they crack it open for live bands most of the time. And then when they do karaoke throughout the week, they do it in the small room. There's a couple pool tables over there, and they have a nice bar, and it's set up real nice. And they usually do karaoke over on that side. But when they invite me over there, and they said they're going to have me about twice a month for the, that's the plan this year. I was there a couple times last year, but the plan is to have me at the Heber Springs VFW twice a month. And they say, hey, go ahead, and we're going to open up the big room because they know I bring a lot of lights and I bring a good sound system and the wireless mics, and it makes them feel like stars because they're in the big room on the big stage. The stage has 3 different levels on it. I can't even explain it. There's pictures on my Instagram of people singing at the VFW, and you can check that out, definitely. But, yeah, that's on Saturday night. That's 8:30 until 1:30 in the morning at the Heber Springs VFW. Full bar, pool tables, big room, checkerboard floor, a big, disco ball, nice light show. And I did have one time where, the lights were bothering one of the veterans. So I went ahead and I toned it down a little bit. So I can be as high energy, as low key as you want. And that's for you with the private events as well. I can make it look like a dance club, or I can keep it nice and light, so that's entirely up to you. So I'm excited. Big weekend, 2 public shows, Rab on Friday, Conway, Arkansas, Heber Springs VFW, Heber Springs on Saturday night. All right, I need to talk to this Hot Springs Batman. Who is the Batman? Calling the Hot Springs Batman now.
Hello?
Hot Springs Batman, please.
This is him.
Who is the Batman? It's Keys Dan with the What Makes You Famous podcast. How's your day?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
Super duper, man. And I'm so glad. And I guess that was kind of a pun. I said super duper, man. I know that's one of the holy trinity of the DC universe. And you are portraying another of the holy trinity. And maybe you could tell the people a little bit about who you are and what you do.
So, I'm a Batman cosplayer from Hot Springs, Arkansas, who is actually fortunate enough to work with an amazing group of people who use their cosplaying know-hows and suits for good and charity.
That's fantastic. Well, how so? How did this all come about? Where did a young Batman? And I know that you're not going to reveal your true identity because riddle me this, riddle me that. Who is afraid of a big black bat? Why all the secrecy behind the Hot Springs Batman?
Well, it started when I first started. I wanted what I do to be more of a symbol. I feel like a charitable act is way more impactful when it's done with a kind heart and without getting recognition for it. So right from the start, I wanted to do good, but I didn't want to plaster my personal name on it and say, oh, this is you-know-who doing this. I wanted it just to be a symbol and a face.
I appreciate your anonymity. And I know Batman has been the man behind the cowl, as opposed to Superman, who puts his face out to the world and everyone knows who he is. The Batman is more secretive, more anonymous, does his good behind behind the mask.
Yeah.
How did this come about? Where did you get the inspiration? I mean, because this is a pretty lofty pair of boots to be filling, and gauntlet for that matter. You could have picked one of the lesser characters, and I'm putting that in quotation marks because all the characters have their own powers and abilities, and they give their own personal touches to, I don't want to down anybody's characters or anybody's creativity, but Batman has risen really above all the others in the DC universe to become, one of the three. And can you tell the people who the big three are?
So the big three would be Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman.
Okay. And do you have cosplayers that play these different characters that you join forces with, so to speak, in the Hot Springs area, Hot Springs, Arkansas, and do things from time to time? And what kind of activities do you do?
So the company I work for is called the Galaxy Connection. It's a pop culture museum and gift shop in Hot Springs. And the owner of that, his name is Arkansas Superman. He actually heads up the entire operation. And so we have a Superman, and every once in a while we have a Wonder Woman. But 9 times out of 10, we have an amazing Green Arrow cosplayer. His name is AR Green Arrow. And we'll have a Captain America sometimes. More than likely, there's Darth Vader and all kinds of stuff. We like to mix it up a lot.
Hey, just know that the Galaxy Connection is a great follow on my social media. They are filling up my Facebook full of inspirational things and pop culture, geek culture. It's kind of a museum. Tell me a little bit about the Galaxy Connection to kind of veer off a little bit from your personal stuff. What does the Galaxy Connection do?
So the Galaxy Connection is like I said, a pop culture gift shop and museum, and the owner, John, actually, he has a lot of his collection from when he was a child and stuff that he's gotten over the years. He has all the old school Kenner toys from the 80s for the Star Wars. It's mainly a Star Wars kind of gift shop. And fun fact, we just got into the museum the very first costume made for the Arkansas 501st Legion.
Oh, that is cool. And the gang. For those that don't know who the 501st is, I'll let you put it in your words. This is your podcast, Hot Springs Batman.
So the 501st Legion is an amazing group of Star Wars-based cosplayers. They have different tangents and branches all over the U.S., and they pretty much, like we do at the Galaxy Connection, use their knowledge and know-how and their amazing cosplay suits for good to just touch as many hearts and as many souls as possible.
I know when I go to different Comic-Cons here in the area, all throughout Arkansas, I find the 501st is usually set up in a booth there, available. They're very keen on their costumes, very adamant about their costumes being movie quality. And oh my goodness, they put their attention to detail, and they will not let anyone falter that attention to detail. And I'm looking at your Batman costume. Now, do you have various different Batman costumes?
No, I do not. I've stuck with the I like to call it Mark 1. And I'm working on right now in the process of upgrading it a little bit. But suits like these take a lot of time and a lot of money. Mm-hmm. And so right now my main focus is just upgrading it to make it look better, and more importantly, just to upgrade the comfortability of it, because it is a very tedious suit to wear.
Well, I guess it's winter time, beginning of 2020, as we're speaking right now. Is it a little more comfortable to wear in the winter?
Oh, yeah. Everyone else is complaining about it's cold, and I'm like, it's just right.
It is just right. You know, Superman's out there with his tights. Wonder Woman got a little bit less on. I mean, depending on what kind of Wonder Woman she's doing.
Yeah.
I could tell, they're probably suffering a bit more than you are at this point. But during the hot summer months, the dog days, you are sweating.
Even during like September when SpaCon comes, it's still really hot and humid, especially in Hot Springs. It's a very humid heat, and so it gets you.
All right. Well, I know we touched on the Galaxy Connection. I'm very excited about going there one of these days. I mean, I'm so very busy, but it's only a mere 2 hours away from Conway, where I'm at, and I need to get down there and check it out. But okay, going back to you, Hot Springs Batman. What was your first taste of the comic book life? How old were you? What a young lad, I'm guessing. What age were you in when you first caught the bug?
Well, that's a tough question. The first actual comic book I read, I had to be about 9 or 10. I rented from the library the Infinite Crisis, the complete book, and I read it in like 2 days. I was hooked.
Yeah.
I loved superheroes even before that. As early as like 2005, I can remember watching like Sam Raimi's Spider-Man and just loving it. And even more so, I got even further into superheroes with 2008's Iron Man. Robert Downey Jr. is one of my favorite actors, and he just nailed it.
Yeah. It's amazing how long he did that show. And if it's not too bold, how old a man are you, just to give a timeline on where you started and where you are right now?
Batman is actually 19.
That's fantastic. And at this young age, you're already into philanthropy. I mean, spending your hard-earned money to build these suits. And, I mean, if it's not too much, how much and how long, how much money and how long did it take to build the current Mark 1 Batman suit that you're wearing?
So, in the ballpark of about 1,000.
And how was this funded? Is this all through you, or can you accept donations?
I just worked my tail off during the summer, saved up as much as possible, and it was something that I had been planning for a very long time. The way I like to tell people is the conception of the bat suit took place about a year and a half to 2 years beforehand, and then finally I had the means to actually do it, and so I just kind of ran with it.
Wow. And what made you choose Batman of all the different characters, Marvel and DC? Because it appears that you're a fan of both, and even the Star Wars geekdom as well. What made you choose the Batman?
It's Batman has always been. I've always had two favorite superheroes, and it's Batman and Iron Man. And it's something just so compelling about, it's just a normal guy who sees a problem and goes beyond the limits of normal men could usually do, and somehow finds himself being able to be in this league with these gods and these immortals. And it's just, like I said, this just regular guy with the means to do so. I've always found that just really inspiring.
I believe you. I believe that to be true. It was for me. It was Captain America was my favorite Marvel, and I guess I'd have to say, well, maybe Batman was my favorite, and maybe still is my favorite DC character. Although I have kept up on the WB with the Arrowverse and watched those religiously. I've kind of gone. There's a list of where you can watch it chronologically, interwebbing all the different shows. So I went from start to finish, and I'm currently at the current season. But I mean, just and I've seen all the movies. Here's one. Who is your Batman of all the incarnations, live action or cartoon? Who is your favorite Batman? That might be tough.
That's a two-parter. My favorite live action Batman, and I might get flack for this, but would be Ben Affleck.
Okay.
The reason why is I heard the casting news, 2014, 2015, Ben Affleck was going to be Batman, and I was very apprehensive. I was like, And so 2016 comes around, and I'm watching Batman v Superman, and, the movie is just awing me. It's wowing me like the entire time. You see Batman and Superman fight, but the one thing that just cemented my love for Batfleck is the warehouse scene where he takes out 24 guys without really even breaking a sweat. He's such a big, broody, boxer-looking physique guy, but his movements are just so fluid and just choreographed to perfection that it was like watching The Dark Knight Returns, which is what it was based off of, live action. Because I'd read that comic book and it was beautiful.
Yeah. I mean, I'll have to agree. I being a fan of superheroes, maybe Ben Affleck is not my Batman because Michael Keaton is my Batman, but Ben Affleck, he's so big and he worked out. And people will say, "Oh no, that guy was, he's in the Jay and Silent Bob movies." No, there's no way he's not. There's no way he could be Batman. But he took it seriously. He bulked up. He worked out, and he's tall enough. He's big enough. And you're right. He moved very well in those suits. And the man had what? How many suits in 2 movies? 6, 7, 18 suits?
I think I counted 4.
4. Okay, even 4 is more than plenty of suits in what? How many movies was he in?
So, if we're speaking technically, it would be 3.
Which one?
Batman v Superman, obviously Justice League, but he made a cameo in Suicide Squad.
Yes, he did. And in all those movies, how many suits did he have?
So, now that I'm re-guessing, I think it's 5 because you had the original suit from Batman v Superman. You had the Nightmare suit from when he had the dream. You had the mech suit from when he actually fought Superman, and then you have in Justice League the Justice League, just the regular armor, and then you have the tactical armor, which had the more padding and stuff for when he fought Steppenwolf at the end.
And I always tell my my audience, all the people that are listening, these are fuzzy facts. Do not fact check us, and do not fill my email box if we get it wrong. Okay, look it up for yourself. Enjoy the fact that we were wrong, and move on. Talking to the Hot Springs Batman, I'm excited, man. I've been excited for quite some time. I was hoping that we'd get to meet face to face, but unfortunately our schedules conflicted, and we're doing it as on the phone. But one of these days, I'm going to meet up with you face to face. Especially, I do a lot of these Comic-Cons where I'm the DJ, and I bring my own original character. I'm the OC. It's the Dr. What from RadioWhat.com. And this is where I got What Makes You Famous as well. But have I met up with you at the Heroes and Angels maybe, or the Cos-Prom or the Cos-Con or maybe Comic-Conway? Any of these?
The only cons I've been to, unfortunately, because I work a lot, but I've been to SpaCon, and last year I had the privilege to go to Little Rock Comic Con.
All right. hard working man. Little Rock Comic Con is big time. I mean, is this something that you're able to? I mean, you are a philanthropist. You do give to the community as much as you can. And I know you work hard for your money, but are you able to be invited, or are you? Is one of these things the things that you're wanting out of this, to be invited to the Comic-Cons and maybe get an appearance fee and that you can do with as you wish, whether you wanted to give it back to charity or pay your bills with it? Is that something that you're open to?
I mean, that would be awesome. I mean, right now the only thing that's stopping me from pursuing this, full time, is I work 6 days a week. I work downtown in Hot Springs. I work at a restaurant called Bubbaloo's Burgers. Fantastic burgers if you ever have a chance to come down. But
well, now I implore everyone on the walking tour of What Makes You Famous, go down to Bubbaloo's and try to figure out which one is the Hot Springs Batman.
You'll never know.
You'll never know.
But yeah, and so that's one of the things that, it's hard because you have to juggle, work life and doing that, and then at the same time having like a personal life, which, as we all know, Batman doesn't have one, and so I'm very like him in that aspect.
All right, you got to make some downtime though. But do you consider, when you dress up as Batman, your downtime, the way that you relax, that you have fun? It's got to be a good feeling when you walk into these places and you are dressed as Batman and everyone wants to be with you, touch you, wants to get a picture with you, autographs even. I mean, how much of that has happened, Hot Springs Batman?
A lot. The first ever appearance I actually made as Batman was I literally had gotten the suit done, I think 2 days beforehand, and the church I was going to at the time, I was visiting the youth there as Batman, and they lost their minds. They wanted autographs, and I was like, this is the best feeling in the world, because, whenever I tell people, I spent that much money on it, or even when I was telling them whenever I was building it, my whole, justification for it was, I'm going to make a difference with it. I'm going to try to give back and try to make the world, or at least Hot Springs, a better place, one smile at a time. And so doing this and doing stuff like that kind of is me keeping my promise. And so it's the best feeling in the world. You walk in there, you see a kid smiling, and, none of that money, none of that blood, sweat, and tears and man hours matters anymore.
Hot Springs Batman. I've talked to a lot of cosplayers on this podcast. I've talked to them at Comic-Cons, and I think the general consensus is you're right. Once you get into these, I mean, okay, let's go with outside of cosplay. Who are you without giving away your identity? What type of person are you? What do you like to do when you're not being the Hot Springs Batman?
So, I like to hang out with friends, obviously, when I have the time to. I hang around the house a whole lot, watch a lot of YouTube, and play video games. I hike every once in a while. I've been really getting into fitness, or trying to at least lately, because I am a heavier set guy, and so I want to lose the weight so that I look the part better. And so I hike as much as possible. I walk as much as possible, stuff like that.
Oh yeah, I mean, the fitness will definitely round out the character. I'm a big dude myself, and I have a Batman, one of those Lycra. I guess it's kind of a compression shirt, and it comes with a cape that's kind of Velcroed on it, and it has a little half mask. And when I wear it, I'm definitely Fat Man. I don't feel the part. I feel like, yes, my fitness should play a part, because Batman, the reason he wins, one of the reasons, is his mind, of course. He is, the detective. He's trained his mind to see things that maybe other people would miss, but he's also trained his body as well. And the fitness is definitely a part of it. Okay, growing up, did you have a lot of friends, or what kind of games were you into in school, or what kind of extra activities were you into, Hot Springs Batman?
So, in high school, I was definitely I would consider myself popular. Funny story about that was about half a year to a year after I graduated, I started working with one of my fellow students that I graduated with. And I don't know how it got mentioned, but yearbooks got mentioned. And she was like, yeah, you actually were class clown. And I said, really? She goes, how did you not know? And I said, I had no idea. But apparently, yeah, I was the class clown for my senior year. But yeah, I'm just my personality is just a very outgoing, goofy person.
So what do you think sewed up class clown for you? Did you tell a lot of jokes, keep people laughing? Were you the guy that poured buckets of spaghetti on your head in the cafeteria? What sewed up the class clown for you?
I think it's just, I'm goofy. I do a lot of voices. That's what I want to do as an adult when I grow up, is actually I want to be an actor. I do a lot of voice acting. I do a lot of funny impressions and stuff. And so I would always just, and I'm a very sarcastic person in my real life. And so I consider my humor in real life closer to Deadpool. All right. I'm just a very dry and sarcastic kind of guy.
Now that you said voice actor, I've talked to a lot of voice actors, and the key word in voice acting is acting. Go ahead, showcase some of your best impressions. Give me some scenarios where this is this guy talking to that guy. Come on, Hot Springs Batman, show off.
Well, this is already kind of my Kevin Conroy Batman impression, and this is what I put on for the kids, but this isn't the full, like, if I were talking to Penguin and I was interrogating him, I'd be like, I'll break every bone in your body, Cobblepot. Where's the Joker?
Chills.
And it gets really way more raspy.
Hey, Kevin Conroy is a lofty Batman impression. I mean, and then if you back that with Mark Hamill's Joker, then
I can actually do Mark Hamill's Joker a little bit.
Go.
All right. It's me, the Clown Prince of Crime.
Oh my! Yes, yes. And how much voice acting have you done? Are you doing any YouTube videos or anything you want to promote out that way that you've done in the past?
Well, I do theater.
Yes.
And so I've done work at the Pocket Community Theater here in Hot Springs, Arkansas.
Excellent.
And I haven't really done a whole lot voice acting wise. I did yesterday actually start my own TikTok. I haven't posted anything to it yet, but I have some ideas. But when you do something like that, you have to throw the whole suit on, and it's a process. So I'm kind of waiting for the right day to where I can get multiple done. So I don't have to just keep putting it on every time I want to make one.
Oh, you are smarter than I am in the podcasting and the social media banking things. Me, I'll do 3 or 4 interviews in a day, and I'll put them all out the same day. Because I want people to get promoted. I want people to know who you are. That's the reason I start these things. But yes, if you can make 3 or 4 or 7 in one day, and then kind of bank them, to where you could put them out, so people keep a taste of what Hot Springs Batman is. So the TikTok that you're doing is also going to be in Batman character as well?
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Okay. All right.
So right now, the only actual social media presence I have is on Instagram. It's hot _ Springs _ Batman 3.
Yeah, I noticed that you have a new one. And it's only got 10 posts on it. What happened to the old account? I'm looking at it right now, the new account.
So the old account was, I started it in January of last year, and the whole reason I started it was just to win a contest to get a new cowl. Unfortunately, I didn't win it, and when I went back to actually post some stuff, I couldn't get back in it, so I had to recreate one.
The horror.
and the most ironic thing is I can't even deactivate the old one because I can't get into it.
First world problems. Yes, and you put so much effort into that one, but now this one that you have is fully Batman and your cohorts that are in at the Galaxy Connection, and I see the whole Justice League is sitting right there, and then Spider-Man jumped in. What?
Yeah.
So, what do you plan to go with this? Because I got an idea of where the taste of Batman and comic books came from. At an early age, you were out there watching the movies, and now what are you doing? What have you done appearance-wise? I mean, you say you're doing the philanthropy. What appearances have you made besides the one that you said already?
So I've done. I've been at SpaCon and Little Rock Comic Con.
Mm-hmm.
I've done the very first one I did was a haircuts for foster kids event at a place called Elysian Salon in Hot Springs. There was a Halloween party at the Abilities Unlimited warehouse that we went to. I've done the Christmas parade. We've done the chili cook-off. Just Saturday, we did an event in Little Rock for a place called Gigi's Playhouse, and it's an amazing organization, and they help children with Down syndrome. And they were having their superhero day, so we all came there. And a little known fact is I've actually cosplayed as a Star Wars character for one event as well.
That's cool. What character?
It was a DHS event in Little Rock, and I was Kylo Ren.
Yeah, I'm watching all the Star Wars front to back now too, in chronological order, where you start with 1, 2, 3, and throw in the Clone Wars and all that stuff. Have you watched all of those movies as well? And what was your taste of Star Wars since you're in that community as well? What's your favorites, the highlights?
I started with the original trilogy, with Alec Guinness and Mark Hamill and all that. And honestly, Darth Vader was always my favorite character. I was Darth Vader for Halloween, I think 2 years. And then I started watching the prequels, and I got through Phantom Menace, and then I kind of stopped. And then
I think you're not alone.
Well, and then I started working at the Galaxy Connection, and it kind of just reignited the Star Wars fire. And so I started watching the prequels again. And so tomorrow I was actually planning on finishing the prequels with Revenge of the Sith. And the only one of the new J.J. Abrams trilogy I've seen is actually The Force Awakens. I need to watch the other two.
Yeah. We just made it to that. We watched all the Mandalorian. We went all the way through, and now I'm at The Force Awakens with the family. So I appreciate it. The work, the effort that was put into these movies. They built universes. It's not DC, Marvel. They've built universes, stuff that we can forget our lives and go delve into these things.
Definitely.
And you're a creator now.
Some of them do it better than others.
Yeah. Okay. Well, who are your faves?
Definitely the MCU is number one when it comes to, just continuity wise, and just, sorry, this is going to be hard for me to say. So Avengers Endgame was actually one of the last films I saw with my mother before she passed away. And it was a movie that literally I've never experienced this in a theater. And I both just regular cried and nerd cried. The scene where it's, Cap, it's on your left, and then everybody comes back. I literally was just in tears from joy and just nerdum. And then you have, Tony Stark's sacrifice was just so well done that it was just really a well-rounded movie that you could only accomplish with 22 films and 10 years of building.
And then bittersweet to be watching it with your mama.
Yeah. Technically, funny enough, the actual last superhero-esque film I watched with her was Joker. Ironically.
Yeah. Well, what did you think of that?
Oh, phenomenal film. I really liked it. Joaquin Phoenix is up there with Heath Ledger. Heath, obviously, just in my heart and in my personality, he's a little bit higher, but Joaquin Phoenix, he blew it out of the park. He did phenomenal.
Well, that's what I'm getting is mixed reviews. I haven't had the pleasure to watch it. I have a theater at my house, so if it comes on Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, or Disney Plus, then I'll watch it. But I haven't had the pleasure of going. But the mixed reviews are, I went into it looking for this cartoony Joker, and then came out with a study of a psychosis, of a
Exactly.
Just it was, you go in looking for one movie and you come out with another movie, but still equally great. And I'm hearing all the accolades, and Joaquin Phoenix deserves everything. Give him all the awards.
Yeah, definitely. If you're coming into it just expecting, you're just average superhero film, you're going to be disappointed. But I compare it to Scorsese, some of his best work, like Taxi Driver, just like it feels almost like a grittier mafia movie type feel. It's really good. And it's something that I think the superhero genre desperately needed, because nowadays, as much as I love it, they are kind of all not the same, but they all follow the same kind of formula.
Yeah, it gets fruity sometimes. Sometimes it's and the shows, the TV shows that I've been watching. There's one, oh my goodness, I can't remember the name of it now, but it goes through what happens to the people when their buildings fall down around all their heads, and how do they protect themselves? They got the umbrella to keep the rocks and things from. It was a very short-lived series as far as I could see.
Oh, was it the Umbrella Academy?
No, not the Umbrella Academy, but it was one where the character that was in charge was like a relative of Bruce Wayne's. Maybe.
Pennyworth.
Was it Pennyworth? Yeah. Perhaps, but certainly it was going over the destruction that the superheroes leave behind, and then us mere mortals, we have to be left cleaning it up, cleaning up after them.
And I think that's what Batman v Superman and Civil War did so well, was it kind of, you've seen these giant, amazing looking battles, but you don't really feel the effects until you're put in the other person's perspective. And I think that's what, Batman v Superman, and the whole reason he was upset at Superman, and, the whole Sokovia Accords tension in Civil War just displays really perfectly.
No, you are so right. Civil War was right alongside of Batman v Superman, where it was two schools of thought, and they both were right and they both were wrong from a certain point of view. It's what we're going through in real life right now. Yeah. It's things that are right politically and could be right, could be wrong from a certain point of view.
And it especially for the younger viewers, teaches them a good lesson that actions have consequences for everybody, even superheroes.
Oh, absolutely. Nobody wins in a war. Nobody at all. Nobody.
I mean, look at Civil War. It divided the Avengers, and it took a Thanos-level threat, and it didn't even happen in the first film. It happened in Endgame for them to set aside the differences and to work together again.
Yeah, after it was all done. After the nuclear bomb went off. Now what? That's what Endgame was. The metaphorical nuclear bomb went off. And,
exactly.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess it did happen. That threat wasn't idle. Maybe we should have listened.
And I think it was a reality check for all heroes that were still there, that the reason, the main crux of the problem that they lost was they weren't all together. Because if you watch every single other movie, the reason why all the Avengers and the Justice League always win is because they're working as a team.
Absolutely.
And so Infinity War did it so well to where they planned it perfectly, where different factions of the team would fight them at some point, but they weren't strong enough to defeat them until everybody was together.
All right. Batman usually works alone, but he can be a team player. I'm seeing that you're a part of a team, Hot Springs Batman.
Oh, yeah.
So primarily when people are booking you for these events, is it all through the Galaxy Connection, or is it things that they can book you through your Instagram or other ways?
So I've actually never been booked through Instagram, and 9 times out of 10, like I said, I might be busy. But if someone does want to book me or anyone else, feel free to try to contact me through Instagram, and I can direct you to the Galaxy Connection, because most of the time what happens is I'll get a text from Superman and he'll say, hey, we have an event this day. Can you make it? and I'll be like yes or no. And sometimes we're actually about to test something out where I'm lending off a couple pieces of the suit because the Galaxy Connection has their own bat suit, but he needed to borrow a piece, so I'm letting him borrow it.
Oh, that's fantastic. I'd like to get a call from Superman. Sheesh, that man's got clout. You know, the Hot Springs Batman getting calls from superheroes.
Oh, yeah.
So, okay, well, hey, I booked you for this show through your Instagram, so you can't say that there's one. There's one. You did one.
There's one. There's one.
It can work. You can get a hold of Hot Springs Batman on his
first interview, so thank you.
Oh, fantastic. I mean, and I never know where these are going to go, but I'm glad that I'm talking to you because I'm getting your insight on different, on geekdom, on superhero-dom, and what being the Hot Springs Batman means to you, and it means to the people all around you whenever you're doing these appearances. And I imagine you go when you see these little kids, and particularly the ones that are sick, that are, you know, and they see you as a symbol, and they can get that energy from you. That's what I feel. Is that what you're getting?
Oh yeah. The way I like to see it is, you know, laughter and hope sometimes are the best medicine, and we are the administrators of that. You know, I haven't had the privilege yet to do a hospital visit, but I've done visits where, you know, we deal with, like I said, Down syndrome people and people with special needs, and you know, they're dealing with so much and so much stress and stuff, and their families and their parents too. And it's amazing how not only you affect that kid's life, but their parents too. It fills their parents with that hope and that happiness, and that's all we strive to do, is just, you know, create hope and happiness and just prosperity.
Well, I always felt, and I know in my college years, one of the things that we did as college students was give back to the community. And that should be a part of any college curriculum, any school curriculum really, is, you know, whether it's something as simple as picking up trash on the side of the road or going and visiting kids and giving them some hope, you know. And if you can dress up like a superhero and really have that feeling in your heart that of doing good, then you might do some good for somebody. You might give them a hope, a feeling, a smile on their face. Go ahead, Hot Springs Batman.
Well, I mean, the feeling of, like, ever since I can remember, I've always wanted to just do something that makes a difference. I've always wanted to make the world a better place. And part of that was just my upbringing. My mom's motto was always, if you can make at least one person smile a day, you've done your job. It was always, you know, make sure that you're comfortable, but also always try to give back as much as possible. It's always look to the guy next to you and make sure that he's got, you know, a jacket or a warm meal, and make sure that everyone is looked after, because we're all here together.
Oh, sounds like you had a great mama that taught you lots of good things, man. You know, yeah, we are all in this together, and not everybody has got hundreds, you know, millions, or even thousands, or even hundreds, or even an extra $5 in their pocket. If you know what you're doing is you've put the time, the effort into building this suit, building these characters, and you're working with other characters to give people, you know, a smile. You know, come on in, get the energy from you when you come in, and maybe, I mean, so some of the sicker kids, you don't want to come in with too much energy, but just walking in the door and they feel your presence, and they get your aura. I don't even know how to explain it, but they get the feeling, the good feeling from you, and I appreciate that. Go ahead.
Batman and Superman and all them, they're just symbols of like a kid could be staring down the worst possible, like he could be receiving chemo for cancer, or just dealing with anything. He could be an amputee, and a superhero comes and visits him, and in that moment they're like, it's going to be okay. Yeah. Because I got Batman and Superman. They have my back. Everything's going to be okay.
Yeah. Hot Springs Batman. I mean, 19 years old, you're already doing good for the community. You've got a good head on your shoulders. You're setting a good example for other people. And I'm working 6 days a week, man. Bugaloos, and is it Bugaloos or
Bubbaloo's?
Bubbaloo's.
Yeah.
What kind of food do they have over there, Bubbaloo's?
Oh man, so it's kind of like a 50s diner feel. We do hamburgers, hot dogs, awesome fries. We Our burgers are made out of 100% Black Angus beef. We press them every day in house, fresh, never frozen. One of the best burgers you can get, and very reasonably priced, especially for downtown Hot Springs.
I got a week off next week. I might have to take a trip to Babalu's.
Well,
plus I'm half Cuban anyway, so Babalu is very important to me.
So, unfortunately, I think we're closed until February 7th.
Boo!
Here. I know we take a break because we like I said, we close only one day a week, and it's a very small staff. There's only 5 of us, and I'm actually the only full-time employee. The other guy's a 16-year-old high school kid named Cole, and then we have a coworker named Sheila, and she actually works at St. Jude's, in St. Vincent's, and then works here just 2 days a week.
Wow, it sounds like you're all like-minded people, hard-working young people, just trying to survive in this world. And now, hopefully, you get a couple extra hours at the Galaxy Connection to keep things met.
Yeah, actually, I just started. They're training me to do tours there. And so that's a very exciting process because, like the saying says, love what you do, you never work a day in your life, and superheroes and Star Wars and all that, that's my bread and butter. So, yeah, that's going to be definitely something that I'm super excited to just dive in head first.
I'm excited for you, Hot Springs Batman. All right, well, maybe I'll take a day off and head down there to the Galaxy Connection. I've been wanting to visit. I know, hey, and I'm telling all my listeners, go ahead and give them a follow on your Facebook at least, because they're always sending out good things. There's characters popping up that are always coming by to say hello at the Galaxy Connection. Even on a Tuesday afternoon, you might see Darth Vader stroll on in. And it's how often do the characters show up at Galaxy Connection?
I am actually not 100% sure on that.
Mm-hmm.
They just got a new location.
Oh, okay.
They were in downtown Hot Springs, and now they're right in front of the courthouse.
In Hot Springs still?
Yes.
Oh, all right. Well, is it to a bigger location, or they outgrew it?
I think it's about 3 times bigger.
Wow.
Way bigger. And it's so amazing. It's ballooned into this.
Well, give me like not the nickel tour. If I'm going through the museum, what am I going to see? Things about what?
There are 2 types of tours. You have just the general admission, which is $15, and then you have the VIP, which is $35. So the general admission and all of that actually it goes towards helping us do our cosplay stuff as well and our outings. But the $15 tour, you get to see everything, you get to look at everything, and then the $35 tour is we have the Black Series Stormtrooper helmets. We have this awesome Black Series Darth Vader helmet that comes off, and it's got all these awesome details, and it makes the sound. We have so many different lightsabers. We have Luke, Obi-Wan, Mace Windu, Darth, Kylo, Yoda, I believe. And we have the Marvel Legends series, Infinity Gauntlet, the Nano Gauntlet, the hammer, all kinds of stuff.
So 35 you can kind of touch?
Yeah, you touch them, you can look at them,
yes.
You can hold them, and all kinds of cool stuff.
Hey, that's worth that's worth the extra 10 right there, is to get the touch. and which now that I've freshly watched the Star Wars series, I remember Luke originally had kind of a white lightsaber, more white bluish when he first got it from Alec Guinness from Obi-Wan, and then when he got his hand cut off, he ended up making somewhere he came up with a green one. Which one do you have?
Exactly. Yeah, and it's funny because John, the owner, had actually said this, and it makes sense. So the lightsaber that Rey has is actually it's been given to so many people. It was Obi-Wan's. He lost it. He used Qui-Gon's, and then Obi-Wan, and then Anakin had it, and then Anakin lost it, and then Luke had it, and then lost it, and then you fast forward through all that time to Force Awakens, and then it's that lady has it, and then gets it to Rey. So it's been given to all kinds of people.
All right. And I haven't seen the last two, but I'm hoping that Ahsoka Tano shows up somewhere.
Yeah,
Hey, I'm just throwing that out there,
I
to
haven't
the
seen it
universe.
either,
I'm
so.
I'm hoping that it happens. If not that one, then maybe the next one. But I'm very excited. The Star Wars universe, the MCU, the DC universe. These are all great. I mean, my daughter's a 14-year-old. She's into anime and all things Japanese, so I'm learning a little bit about that. But I mean, are there other fandoms? There's the DC, the Marvel, the Star Wars. Is at the Galaxy Connection. What are there, like, all things from all broad, all along the spectrum of geekdom?
So, you covered the big three, and then we have this really, really cool He-Man and the Masters of the Universe display of all, like, the 80s He-Man toys.
Cool.
And those are really cool. I'm trying to think. Other than that, there's not a whole lot. We have the Kenner, like the 80s toys.
Yeah,
we
the
have
Star
Robin
Wars,
Hood,
yeah.
Prince of Thieves stuff.
Oh.
We have the Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves stuff that he made because, I'm not going to get too much into that because you'll hear it during the tour.
Yeah,
but there's
you will.
There's a funny bit of information about that too.
I think we got the nickel tour of the Galaxy Connection there. Hot Springs Batman, good luck in that new career, that new endeavor, and hopefully Bubbaloo's opens up real soon and we all get to have a burger and some fries. All right, so the only place to find you right now is on Instagram. Give the people that Instagram one more time.
So it's hot_springs_Batman3.
And then the TikTok, do you remember the URL for that one?
It's same thing.
Oh, okay. Well, that's pretty.
Yeah, I tried to
that's
make
good
it
branding.
simple.
All right, Hot Springs Batman. As we round this out, thank you so much for your time. And
No problem.
Go ahead and give the people some last words.
My last words would be, if you feel inspired or moved to do something that you think will make a difference, don't let anyone tell you not to. Do your own thing, live your own life, choose your own path, because no matter what you do, it will impact somebody. Use your talents and your hobbies for good. That's the most you can do. Try your best, try your hardest. I mean, like I said, I'm a 19-year-old kid that works 6 days a week, but I still manage to try as much as I can to do this because I've been inspired by so many cosplayers before me. And, if you have that inspiration and that want to actually help the world and make the world a better place through that, go for it. More power to you.
Well, there you have it, party people. Hot Springs Batman. Find him on Instagram and find him on the TikTok. He's just started up his TikTok, and I encourage you to head over to the Galaxy Connection. And when you're getting your tour, you could say, is that Batman giving me the tour? I don't even know if he's going to be in costume. I didn't ask him if he was going to do the tours as Batman in costume. I guess we'll find out. I know I'm going to go down there pretty soon and go check out one of these. Hey, I'm going to spend the extra $10 and get the $35 or oh my goodness, math hard, the extra $20 and get the $35 so I can touch the lightsaber and the helmets and have a good time down there at the Galaxy Connection. And then hopefully Bubbaloo's opens up real soon. He's got my mouth watering for those burgers. And then I'll try to figure out, hey, which one's my guy? There's only 5 of them. Yeah, he's giving me lots of clues on who he really is. And he's giving you lots of clues on who he really is, the Hot Springs Batman. But no matter who he is outside of that cape and cowl, he is a very sweet person for doing what he does. And my goodness, spent over $1,000 on his costume, and it looks really nice. And I imagine he's going to be going and going into the different types of Batman costumes as well, not just the Mark I that he's in right now. But follow him on Instagram, definitely hot_springs_Batman3. Yeah. That's it for this edition of What Makes You Famous. If you want to tell your story, I encourage you. Give me a call, 501-470-6386, or email info@radiowhat.com. That's it for me. It's Keys Dan, radiowhat.com, djlittlerock.com. Peace. I'm out of here.
Follow Keys Dan on Facebook and Twitter. Click on the links at the top of keysdan.com. Follow Radio What on Facebook and Twitter. Click on the links at the top of radiowhat.com. The music you want is on.
If you like what you hear, follow What Makes You Famous social media. Use the hashtag What Makes You Famous. Follow on Facebook at What Makes You Famous. Follow on Instagram at What Makes You Famous. Follow on Twitter at Makes Famous. And follow on YouTube at Keys Dan. Leave What Makes You Famous podcast a review and subscribe. Listen to What Makes You Famous podcast on Podbean, iTunes, YouTube, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, and Spotify, and almost anywhere you find podcasts. Tell your story on my podcast, What Makes You Famous. Call 501-470-6386 and leave a message to set up a time. You can support What Makes You Famous using the PayPal link, paypal.me/KeysDan. Email info@radiowhat.com. What Makes You Famous podcast is a production of Keys Dan Enterprises Incorporated at keysdan.com. Thank you for listening.
Radio What? The music you want with some great quotes. Talk sense to a fool, and he will call you foolish. Anonymous. The music you want. RadioWhat.com.